All right, let me say special greetings and yes, welcome to all of you guys who are already here with me. It's always a pleasure to be in your company each and every Saturday from just about that time, 6 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time. And I always, yes, treasure your company. I know you could be anywhere else, but you choose to be here doing what we call this live engagement together. And so I always appreciate your company each and every time. Folks, it is the 20th day of April 2024, and that is where we're gonna start another very interesting program here this evening. Let me just run through some names before I start here, and the qualifying word here is some names. So that we can get going here. Elizabeth Benjamin, Santia Tia, Dana Philbert Peterson, Mali Ostring, Judy Berry, Celia Gordon, John Alfred, John Joseph, Owen, Prosper, Margel Durand, Estella Labassiere, Fifth Sunshine, June Talbot, Miska, Ismail, Niska Alfred, or Niski Alfred, sorry, Owen Prosper, saying that he's locked in as usual. Natalie Sunwing, good evening to you. Carol Olivachi Bruni, Alista Irish, Maria Laura, Marva Privu, Eliza Louise Gomes, Bernard Ulysses, Eliza Louise Gomes, I mentioned you already. Edith John, Carol Ann Ford, you're also there. We also have Bernadette now, Myla, good evening. She said that she's locked in, and saying good evening to all those locked in as well in the diaspora. Darren Yard, Margareta Joseph, Yvonne Abel, Carol Fontaine, Winsbert Latz, good evening to you. Justina James, Johnson Bonnie, good evening to you. Deb Prince, Claudette Durand, and we have Brother Bernard Aline, Kirsten Richard, Celia Gordon, Annie Edwards, June Talbot, Bella Frank, Juanita Prince, Olivia Esprit, Stephanie John Baptist, Heather Feather James, good evening to you. We also have here, what's that? Silas Shapir, good evening to you. Vincia F. Francis, Celia King, you're in the house as well, good evening. Christine Burnett, you're also there. We also have Avril Hilaire, Claraline Warrington, June Felix Sylvester, Bevin Sejean, Annette Mondry, Lucina McDowell Fool, Brother Angelo Allen, saying greetings, love to you, God bless you as well. Brother Allen, Namara, Casey, Sherry, good evening to you. Joyce, Leonard, Raina, Rosie, Philbert, Liney, Andrew, Theodora, Anthony, Marvella, Defoe, Edith, John, Immersia, Vigil, Immersia, good evening to you as well. Euthali, Vidal, Doyle Cole, good evening. Stephen Stewart, you're also there. June Prince, Bertilia, Birmingham, Shirley Canaville, Judy Berry, just calling him a while ago. Merlin Alfred, Island Boy George, also there. Ivinia Joseph, Merlin Alfred, yes, you're also there. Who else we have here in the listening and viewing audience? Merlin Gordon, Dory Drago, just tune in as well. Teresa Susanna Roll, Marlene Shillingford, Rosemary Flora, Judith Cochran, and the Cochran Pass. Good evening to you guys. Conrad Vacher, John Francis, Royston Francis, Jane Bernard, Coral Raffo Sr., good evening to you. And folks, yes, the list goes on and on. Ria Johnson, Stephen Astafan, Magali, John Jules, and Ramona from Bath Estate, St. Rose, you and your family. Robert Alexander, Lydia Mulcair Harris, good evening to you. As I mentioned, this silly Mulcair, a brother passed away at 80-something years. This week, I believe, brother Mulcair from Canefield, a senior gentleman that I knew growing up very well. He had some part to play in what I am today. And so we used to call him Martin. So Brother Martin, wherever you are now, I know that you're in a better place. And so, you know, to your grieving family at this time, we just want to tell them to be encouraged, all right? Jocelyn Molke, Maze, and the others, good evening to you, my friends. indeed in the Canefield area at this time. Folks, this week as we begin our program here, this week was, sort of a heavy week as well. For those of you who went through the passing of a loved one, and so if you are out there in the viewing and listening audience, I sympathize with you at this time, and I'd also want to thank the number of you already here who sympathize with persons who have lost loved ones during this week. Dominica of late has been a place where, well, death is inevitable, we know that, but of late, Dominica is a place that is really and truly, you see someone today and basically you see them tomorrow. That's what it is. Especially when you are or that person has to be admitted to the hospital in Dominica, the main hospital, and we will touch on that sometime later, because we're hearing a number of situations as it relates to the poor health care situation in Dominica that have been a refrain on a lot of Dominicans' tongue. And so as this good old saying goes, 100 Frenchmen can't be wrong. So though some persons may want to deny it, though some persons may want to disprove it, but at the end of the day, it is a fact that our healthcare system in Dominica is truly not the best at all. There's much room for improvement, and I really and truly don't think the policy makers who are there right now, after being there for 25 years, quarter of a century, they have plateaued. They can basically do no more. And so it is a matter of getting them out of the way and putting some other policymakers in place that can see if these people can help shift that paradigm, as it were, especially in the healthcare sector. Dominicans, we have had enough. Enough is enough. And I can't say it any better, and I choose not to say it any better, because the fact is always what I go after. Also hearing as well of this brother who passed, I think, from the Stock Farm area, big bulky brother. As to the situation, why he passed, I don't know as yet. But again, our sympathies go out to the family at this time. We're also hearing about the young nurse who is alleged was pregnant at the time of her birth, her death, and so instead of giving birth, that poor baby died inside her, and so she as well succumbed in the process. So both mother and child, it is alleged for now, died, and so there are some questions that need to be answered by the powers that be, and I want to think that the doctor who was attending to this young lady, who was a nurse, I've been told, I touched on Brother Martin earlier who passed, and it's just, we in Dominica have been going through that situation for some time, and so it is no new situation to us, but we just have to keep pressing so that we can change our situation indeed. All right, that is how I want to open up the program here in terms of just a much more encouraging note, so that we all can, have that kind of strength to move forward indeed. All right, Dominicans also too. I want to touch on all the hustlers in the street. That's how I call them this evening. The hustlers in the street. There are a number of persons who I come in contact with on a daily basis, going around my daily business. And so whenever I meet you guys, we always share a word. And most of you are listening to the program, you take it in either live or after the fact, be it on Facebook or on YouTube. And so I want to thank you guys for, you being part and parcel of the audience. The situation in Dominica is a real situation. Let us move away from healthcare now and let us dive into the aspect of the economy. The economic situation is not the best. I can tell you that straight up. As a matter of fact, a number of persons who I have the privilege to talk to, they tell me straight up, Lofty, things are really rough, things are really tough. I myself have my own situation going through, my own struggles going through, so it is a matter of, as the good book says, iron sharpens iron, and so I normally try to leave a good word of encouragement as well. But Dominica, our country, is not at its peak, it's not at its best in terms of the economic situation, the buoyancy of the economy in Dominica at this time. And so I know, yes, a number of you guys out there are feeling that pinch. Let me shout out a brother, a hustler I met in the week. I met him selling some coconut water out by the Newtown Savannah area, opposite the Newtown Savannah. Matter of fact, I stopped to get a bottle from this brother, and you know, we had a little exchange. And when you realize it was me, you know, we had this kind of, you know, engagement. And right there, right then, basically told me about, you know, things are rough. But big up to you, my brother. Met you this week. Your small company, your small organization trying to make ends meet, and all the other hustlers out there. Coconut water now is a thing in Dominica that you cannot miss. Persons are trying their best selling coconut water all over the place. They have it pushing in carts all over the place, in containers, in coolers all over the place. And so those of you, you know, your juices, your small businesses on a whole, I know it is not the best of times in Dominica, but we have to be encouraged. We have to stay the course as it goes, knowing fully well that we may be, as I keep saying, going through our very bitter days now, but our better days are ahead indeed. And our better days are ahead, but we can fast track those days to be a reality if we play our part. Some of you, some of us like to pray, and prayers, they are good. But at the end of the day, this same book that encourages us to pray, it tells us categorically that prayer, which equals faith, without works is dead. And so it's not me saying, it is the book that you believe in that says that. So if you guys keep praying, there comes a time when you have to get up from your knees, as it were, and stand erect, gird your loins, pull up your sleeve, hold that bull by the horn, and do whatever needs to be done to get rid of your very depressing situation where it comes to your livelihood in this country. That's how I can say. Everywhere you turn in Dominica, there's this cry, there's this alarm, there's this call for help, there's this outpouring that the country is not doing well. And so I'd want to think that all of you out there who are in that position at this time, whenever that time comes around, then you know what to do. I don't need to tell you what to do, because they say he who is in the kitchen feels the heat. And for sure we are feeling the heat. We have felt that heat for too long now. So Dominica, that is how I want to open up. Those of you in the region, welcome on board. My brother Verbrit in Antigua, good evening to you and your folks over there in Antigua, St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. From Trinidad to Belize, you guys are locked. Good evening to you. Thank you very much. And all further afield, those of you in North America, South America, Asian continent, wherever you are, the African continent, wherever you are listening at this time, it's my pleasure. My brother in Zimbabwe, always locked in. Good evening to you as well. Also I have a friend in Turkey, China. You guys are always locked in. And Russia, yes, my dear friend in Russia, you are always locked indeed. Thank you very much for your eyes and ears each and every time. All right, folks, where are we going this week? Last week, I was not here with you in terms of this space. I was somewhere else. Remember, we had this program with Brother Ozzy Lewis last week from the comfort of his home. So I'll be starting off from where I left last week. And as well, we will be, after we leave Ozzy, in terms of some comments, we'll be going to our good old China Friendship Hospital, as it is called, to talk about some matters there. And all right, and some matters as it relates to our healthcare situation in Dominica. Also, we'll be touching on the case that is ongoing as we speak with Mr. Jonathan Lira and crew. We'll be touching on that. We'll also be having some kind of engagement with a well-known DLP supporter that is in the name of Mr. Claudius Lita. Most of us know him by the nickname Kokom. So yes, we'll be talking to Kokom sometime later in the program, just about the 7 o'clock hour. We will be leaving that conversation our financial institution, or financial institutions rather, although just primarily 2 we have. We'll be leaving that for next week. Most likely I'll be inviting a guest here to talk to us about our financial situation in Dominica as it pertains to the institutions now, and what they're doing well, and certainly what they can brush upon in terms of serving us better in the Commonwealth. After we are done and dusted with COCOM, we'll be dealing with this Wesley situation, whereby there's an occupation going on now in Wesley where the Chinese are concerned, and so we have to speak about that. And yeah, we have to pay some attention to what is going on in Wesley. Tomorrow, just a preview what is to come on the Civic Vibes program. We will be touching on the economy. That is our focus for tomorrow. We'll be having brother / doctor Timothy, not Timothy, Fontaine in the house with us. Well-known economist in Dominica. He's the leader of the United Workers' Party. So we'll be having him in the audience tomorrow. Well, not in the audience as guest. Tomorrow we'll be speaking to the audience out there as it pertains to the economic situation in Dominica. And so that conversation, trust me, is going to be a very interesting one. And so I ask you guys to be in tune for that discussion indeed. So folks, that is it in terms of where we go tonight, or where we are going tonight for the conversation that we're about to have, which we will bring down at 8 o'clock tonight. Let me start where I left off last week in terms of Ozzie Luis. We know Ozzie Luis in Dominica as a very formidable man. Ozzie Luis is no stranger to us in Dominica, and as he himself would say, as Ozzie Luis himself would say, let me just wet the throat before we move on. But if you know Ozzie Luis well, he wouldn't say, let me wet my throat. He would say something like, you're going to get some thoracic lubrication. That's how, skilled that man is in terms of the handling of the English language. And so we had this discussion with him last week. Read a letter that was issued to him by Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, that is the CEO of Q95. Basically, we had his response. Ozzie Luis did not take that letter lightly. You heard him, and so no need to go back there. What I can tell you, though, in terms of just touching on that subject matter before we leave there, most of you, if not all of you, thought that that letter that you guys heard me read and Ozzie Luis responded, that letter was sort of insensitive in nature. You guys thought that, and you're in order to be thinking so or to have thought so. And when you would have thought, or when you would have thought, things would have been getting better in terms of the culmination of that letter, I am privy to some information that suggests otherwise. And Ozzie Luis, in his own wisdom, chose to call out the letter that was sent to him At least the first letter, he made it public and I responded publicly. But it is not at all good news as it pertains to the continuation of that saga. And it is not a matter of putting anybody in bad light, but at the end of the day, the facts must be brought to the fore. And yes, I am privy to another letter, which I will not be reading to you. A matter of fact, I did not get the authority or the permission, as it were, to publicize this note. A matter of fact, I don't have it in my possession. But I can tell you, if you thought the first one was insensitive, then the second one, if ever, whenever it may be made public, you be the judge. But I am prepared to say, based on what I know thus far, it is as equal insensitive as the first letter. That is what I am prepared to say. And also what I am prepared to say as well is that in Dominica sometimes it is not what is done in terms of persons trying to correct a situation. It is who did it. And so out of that situation, Mr. Ozzy and the saga that went on there, I am saying the hypocritical posture by some persons in society, be it in Dominica or outside of Dominica, Dominicans at heart, you guys need to change those very hypocritical postures of you guys. If it was another person or another set of people, I know based on your posturing, you would have taken a different route. And so it is said, what is good for the goose is certainly good for the gander. And it is not just because it is Mr. So or Madam So that you guys have to turn away or turn your eye from the real cost of justice and play as if you don't know what is going on. And to me, people, when I look at our country today, some of what we are going through, it is as a direct result of these kind of hypocritical posturing. And yes, I want to leave it very, very vague like that. Very, very vague. Because if I get any more narrow, then, you know, I may just open up a can of worms, which is not my intention. But it must be, justice must be meted out no matter who. And so if someone or some people are on a particular course, we hear every day in this country, especially from persons who are not in support of the DLP's regime. We chastise the DLP regime for doing things in a particular way. And so it should not be because it is it is coming from us. We should have another posture. Yeah. So at the end of the day, people, yeah, it is being true to your conscience. Yeah. But Ozzy Lewis is a man, he's a big man, I cannot tell him what to do. He will decide what he do as it pertains to his moving forward. All right. Let me just take some comments here before I move here. Bernie Scotty, good evening, dear, and everyone tuned in. John Pierre says, I do hope that you're getting ready to take the office of Prime Minister next election to show the people of Dominica you can do better. And it's not just talk. Don't develop any country. Well, my brother John Pierre, thank you for your comments. But if you don't want to hear talk, then that is not the place for you to be. Because what is happening here, as you said, is talk. All right? So with all due respect to you, sir, if you don't want to hear talk, as you said, you can find yourself somewhere else. All right? But talk must be preceded by action. So I want to ask you now, what are you prepared to do with the talking, as you say, to help liberate this country? When you're prepared to answer that, please call me. We can have a rapport and we can join forces together and move on. All right? Because some of you I know don't like to hear the talk. But what are you guys prepared to do? Apart from the talk, then that is where the real barometer, the yardstick is, as it were. All right? But thank you for your comment nonetheless. Marshall says, maybe good intention, but how things are done matter. Marshall, good evening to you. Paula Lopez says, so true. Fear is fair. We all need to stand for what is right. Paula, thank you very much. You know me very right. No matter where it comes from, I will stand for what is right. Tony Mitchell said, I did not understand what you said there. Break it down. Well, I intentionally did not say things in a manner, Mr. Mitchell, for everybody to understand in direct English. But if you're a follower of parables, you'll understand what I'm talking about. All right? Because as I said, if I go very direct on that matter that I'm referring to, read that second letter of Mr. Ozzy, then there will be a whole nother ton of can of worms that I'll be opening, and it is not my intention to do just that. But all I want to say on that matter before I end is that persons out there who are having this sort of posturing, this sort of, bias or partial attitude when it comes to justice, you know yourselves. All right? And it is even more sad when it comes from a certain set of people, especially those of you who are supposed to be men and women of the cloth. All right? And so though your intention may be good, but at the end of the day, you have to be much more straight up as it pertains to justice for one, justice for all. Yeah? Folks, let us move here to our hospital, as it were. Our hospital. And just for that discussion, I'm going to call it what they call it, the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. Before we had the PMH. I still think we have the PMH. But at the end of the day, it was baptized. Not legally, that is in Parliament, but it just got that name. And so for that conversation, I'm going to say the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. And so whatever the China friendship relations have to do with the health care, we have to take that into consideration. Don't wait when your family, when your relative gets to that place for you to understand or come to the realization that what we have been saying all along. And I am prepared to say, based on the facts, based on the data that have been coming out of the Dominica China friendship, whatever it is, not a hospital. It is a building. So it is the Dominica China Friendship Building. That is not a hospital. There are persons who go in there and come out from there. They go in alive with whatever it is and comes out on their back, as I said last week or week before. So some persons who die at the Dominica-China Friendship Building, some of these deaths, based on what I'm getting from inside sources, could be preventable deaths. They could be prevented. They could be prevented. As I said before, we know death is inevitable. Death must knock sometimes. But at the end of the day, what is taken care of in other countries? We cannot seem to get it right here in terms of healthcare. You heard of persons getting mild stroke as you know. We heard of persons getting mild, heart attack, cardiac arrest. We heard of persons getting whatever virus they come through with. I'm talking about virus. Some persons are telling me that their family, whoever relative of theirs, went into that building without a particular virus. And when they are discharged, they come out with whatever virus it is. So apart from our hospital cannot come around and give us the necessary health care, added to that, some persons are also contracting from the hospital what they did not have. And a gentleman was buried about 2 weeks ago, and the family members told me that as fact. This brother went in, obviously with some conditions, complaints, whatever it is. When he came out, he had an additional situation of attracting or contracting a virus at the hospital or the building they call a hospital. To the extent that the family members, the relatives of this gentleman who passed, when they were going to readmit him to that facility, the family members stepped in and said, no, doc. Whatever it is in terms of medication, attend to us and we'll attend to him at home. That is how fearful at least that family was to send back their relative to the Dominica-China building. And that's not one case. There are many, many cases. And so it is a very scary place. And I'm not telling you that to scare you off. I'm just telling you the reality. Whenever persons are told that they have to be admitted to that building, an extra level of fear takes over your body. Because the reality is, you go in one way, you are not sure of coming out any better. But the healthcare ministry in Dominica, they want to tell us otherwise. But it is said, who knows it feels it, or who feels it knows it. Who feels it knows it. And so when the same people who wants to tell us otherwise, if they cut their finger, if they burst their toe, if they get a toothache, they are not prepared to stay 5 minutes at that whatever building. They are prepared to run out to get it solved and come back. And they leave that place for their subjects. That's the reality. And it was told to us in Dominica in plain English language. So those of you who are in denial, go back and check the records, as it were. So what good is it of a hospital? What good is it of an educational facility? What good is it to have an agricultural ministry? What good is it to have a tourism ministry? And when it comes to the policymakers participating in those sectors, they are far from these sectors. So what good are these sectors? I don't want to rehash, but your man who sits in the chair as Prime Minister said it very clear, very clear. He said, my wife and my children and myself, we have health insurance. And so when we fall sick, we can go abroad where the healthcare facilities are much more equipped to deal with their situations than what they have brought about in Dominica. And those of you who were there, you were clapping. So you were clapping to your demise. You were clapping to your downfall. You were clapping to the inevitable situation where when you or your loved one falls sick, I see, it's an extension of the morgue. And this is a thing in Dominica, people, that we really and truly have to be concerned about. Don't talk about medication. We all know the situation with medication. Yeah? This place is basically bankrupt as it pertains to proper and effective medications. So what good is a building if you have practitioners in there and don't have the necessaries at their fingertips to execute? What good is that building? So that's why I said it is not a hospital. Look up in the dictionary or the encyclopedia, go online, Google what is a hospital, and you'll get the definition thereof. It certainly doesn't add up as it pertains to what we have in Dominica. So yes, they are right. It's a Dominica-China friendship something. I am hearing certain things, but for now I will say it is a conspiracy. For now, I'll say it's a conspiracy. So I'll not let you hear any conspiracy or conspiracies for now. Read the healthcare system. But if what I'm hearing is true, and once it is proven or factually can be proven, then yes, I'll bring it up to you. And you'll understand what we are dealing with in this country as it pertains to our healthcare system. Sit tight, Dominicans, sit tight. As we are moving on, folks, 6:45. Mr. Jonathan Lira, Monday of this week, there was a bail application hearing for him at the High Court, where he said that because of health reasons, that he wanted to be out on bail. Jonathan Lira, for those of you who don't know, is an accused killer. He and Mr. Robert Snyder, North American, of basically brutally killing, allegedly that is, for now, of 2 Canadian citizens who were in Dominica. And they were not just killed, they were brutally killed. It is said they were shot, people heard gunshots in the area. That wasn't enough for whoever perpetrated this gruesome crime. Acid or some acid substance or some whatever it is to basically have their skin eaten up unrecognizably was poured over their bodies. That is Mr. Dominic and his partner Masha. So they were shot and that chemical was poured over their body, it was said, or it is said. So that gives us now an idea of the intention, the criminal intention of these persons who perpetrated that heinous crime. And after, whatever was remaining, what the acid couldn't deal with in terms of eating up the vehicle which they were in, when all that took place, was set ablaze. So in my mind, they were killed 3 or 4 times. Shooting them would have killed them. Pouring acid or whatever it is on them would have surely killed them. Burning their bodies, it's a must. And to try to hide everything now, their vehicle, an attempt was made to push it down a cliff 1,000 feet plus deep. So that's why I said they would have been killed 4 times. And this man, who it's alleged committed that kind of crime, went to the court, had the audacity to go to the court and telling the court that he wants bail because of some health issue, which he said, some prostate issues or whatever it is. And so it's on that note I want to thank the women primarily of the Soufriere Scots Head constituency who came out in their numbers and they spoke, they protested vehemently against he getting bail. And if you are accused of such a heinous crime, it cannot be for a situation of prostate, whatever state it is, you want to be out. And even putting on documents filed in the court, you don't want to stay in Dominica. You want to move to Texas. Texas is not Florida, people, in terms of the geographic location. So this man wanted to move as far or furthest away from the place where he is alleged to have committed that gruesome crime or participated in that gruesome crime. And so on everybody's lips, well, if this man is granted bail, he would have just disappeared. And also the judge, I want to compliment the judge, at least for now, for looking at that situation and denying that man his requests for his lawyers. I also want to thank the state attorneys so far for doing their job, as it were, to have this man sit in Dominica cells, prison that is, to await his day in court. And so to the DPP and their team, so far, you guys have done a good job. And when it is good, I say it is good. Because if you guys had released or caused this man to be released back into the public and also to travel overseas for medical, whatever it is, that would be a sure, indelible mark on the justice system in Dominica. Which, by the way, the Canadians, their eyes, they are glued on that case. And not just the Canadians based on what I know. There are other jurisdictions in terms of law enforcement and the judiciary system. Their eyes, it is glued on Dominica as to how this case has played out so far and how it will continue to play out. So for sure, it would have been a stain, a very ugly stain on us as a people now, if this man was set loose on his request of his feeling unwell and needing treatment. Now, to the powers that be in Dominica, and I'm talking about the policy makers, some of you, you know exactly well what I'm going to tell you now. And I know it's not all of you. But those of you who are in bed with this gentleman to try to get him off the hook, you guys need to rethink that agenda of you guys. Because I know there are a number of you, at least a clique of you, who are in bed with this gentleman trying to get him off the hook by whatever means legally there is. And so that was the first attempt, I'm being told, to use the health route to get him out. And you guys, you know yourselves. You know the quote-unquote influence you guys have. And you guys are trying your best to use that influence to try to persuade corporate people to get him off the hook. But there are persons who you guys are talking to, who you guys are dealing with, they have a conscience. And the conscience is not a man-given thing. It's a God-given thing. And so that conscience, it normally, usually ticks in the right direction. And so some of you who have severed your conscience with a hot rod, those of you who are in that clique, there are some persons who you have to talk to because they have to be part and parcel of that letting of the hook scheme. These people, they have a conscience and they're prepared not to sever their conscience with a hot rod like you guys. And so these people, they are speaking. And I find it is very, very strange that the organization called Bois Cotlet, which Mr. Jonathan Lira was CEO or ECEO of, it is still on the books in Dominica as it pertains to the CBI recording. That is where we sell our passports. If you go on the government website as we speak, Bois Cotlet is still there as an authorized agent to sell our passports in Dominica. Now, I don't know what kind of contract that these authorized agents sign with Dominica, because you know everything is always in the shadows. Everything is always in the dark. But I would want to believe if these people, especially the policymakers, are for country now, they would look into a document where these passport peddlers would be signing and include a clause or two in there to say or to suggest, if any one of you individuals now are in no way, shape, or form, accused or not, in crimes of that nature, once you're accused, at least your company's name or your name or whatever it is you're posing as, selling our passports, at least for that period of time when you're accused, the court process is going through, that name should be deleted from the website. So that persons going on the website looking to buy a passport should not have you as an option now to say, Mr. Boakotlet, Madam Boakotlet, I want to do business with you. No, it cannot be. And so it is in that direction now I want us to, as a people, to direct our attention. So if the authorities forgot to include this clause, they need now to plug it in there because of public pressure. Mr. Lira cannot be sitting down in prison accused of such heinous crime, the shooting, pouring of acid, burning, and subsequently attempting to throw the vehicle over a 1,000-foot cliff. Sitting down in prison accused of that, and he's still afforded the luxury of selling our Dominican document. It cannot be. And so once his name is still there, once his business name is still there, he can now authorize whoever it is, I am saying, to sell our Dominican passports. And so he may just be milking our money while sitting in prison. You never know. And so that is a case we have to pick up. And the same way the people of Soufriere came out and protested against he getting bail, we in Dominica by extension, we have to say it as it is. If it means we have to come out and protest against and to get his business name off the records. If when that whole saga is done, he is vindicated, he is set free and found not guilty, then maybe we can reconsider. But up till now, we should not have the name Bois Cotlet, which is in so much controversy now, really killing of these two people, brutally that is, and be still on the government's website at cbiu.dm.gov. No, it shouldn't be. And so if the powers that be wants to send any semblance of they looking or seeking justice, start there. Start there. So I heard Mr. what's his name, Blackmore, came out and gave his big speech about justice, justice, justice. Blackmore, you are the Minister of National Security. Start there. Tell your Roosevelt he needs to facilitate the process by getting Bois Cotlet off the record. And once that is done, the population, the nation will see you guys are on a path to get justice for Daniel and his partner. Unless and until that is done, what you guys are doing or what you guys are saying is little to next to nothing. Start there. Start there. So the same way you guys like to come out and make your big pronouncements about airport and whatever it is, come out and make a big announcement that Mr. Bois Cotlet's name, his business name, has been removed, deleted, eradicated, taken off, whatever it is, from the website, at least for the process or duration of that matter. Yeah? So we can start there. Good. Let me see. Oh, I have to be making a call now, people. 7 o'clock. Let me see if I could locate. He used to be a known DLP supporter before. That is Mr. Claudius Lita, better known as Kokom. I don't know if he still is. I'll ask him the question. But he was vindicated in the court, the High Court, sometime last week or week before. And so I just think I'll call him to get his take on that vindication. And what about, you know, the other situation as it pertains to his name, where the court is concerned? So let me just try this if I can get Brother Kokom on the line, and I just indulge your patience for like 2-3 minutes. All right, people? Let me see if I get him on the line.
Hello?
Mr. Later?
Hello, good night, Mr. Loftus. How are you?
How are you, my brother?
I'm not too bad.
All right, you are now live on my program, the Saturday Night Live. But just give me 1 minute. Let me just see if I could get your audio out so that persons can hear you much better. Hold on. Are you there, Kokom?
Yes, I'm there.
All right, thank you. Persons are now listening to you live on the program. As I said, I want to thank you for coming on, agreeing to come on with me to just speak a little matter of that court battle that you were in for some time. And about 2 weeks ago, you were vindicated, meaning the court decided there was no case against you. Can you just tell us about that, sir?
Well, Mr. Loftus, I would say in 1995, 90, I am Warhawk, Dominica, I am Granby. That's where but I one by the name of John. Most of his children did not know. So good to him, helping him. He brought up his wall.
Kokom, 1 minute, my brother. Can you just make that line a little clearer? I'm not hearing you properly. It's like you're going in and out. Can you move away from where you are, please?
Okay, well, please. So I'm going in the outside, so it'll be better. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, let's try it there. Let's see. It's like as if you're going and coming in.
Okay, hold on a second. What you say there?
All right, let's take it there.
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay, so I go to Roseau and take a loan, build a house. Hello. Someone came to live in my house. They were big partition, one left and one. So I left two and died.
Kokom, unfortunately, trust me, my brother, I really want you to get every word from your mouth, but I'm not hearing you loud and clear enough, so I know the listeners, they're having a difficulty in hearing you as well.
Okay.
Let me try to call you back on WhatsApp, because I'm calling you direct. Let me try to call you back on WhatsApp to see if it will be better. All right? Just hold the line there. Folks, I apologize for the poor quality, but the signal where Brother Kokom is at this time, it is really not crystal clear. Let me just try to. Let me just try. Let me just try this if I could get some Brother Kokom back, because yeah.
Hello?
All right, Brother Kokom, I'm back with you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, I am hearing you a bit clearer now myself. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I was just telling you, Kokom, that you were vindicated sometime 2 weeks ago in the courts of Dominica, the High Court to be precise. Can you just take us back there as to the genesis of that matter?
Well, as I said to you a while ago, I took a loan from the credit union in 1996-97, and I built a house in one house. Well, while I was living in my home, someone came and asked me for them to rent. I told the person that I am not ready to rent because the house is not registered yet. So in a few days I will give them an answer if I can rent or not. I left and I go to Grand Bay. When I came back, I saw light in my house. I saw the person's vehicle parked. I did not tell the person nothing in as much as the end we had spoken already. So the following day, the Sunday, the person called me, the person told me I was destitute. I had nowhere to live. He put me up from where I live in, and he wanted I would speak, so he entered into the house. This man lived in my house from 1996, 97 to 2010, and he never gave me not a penny. So I did not tell him nothing. That time I was living in St. Martin, I was working there. I came back to Dominica. I told him, well, you can put something in the credit union for me. I came back to Dominica, nothing was in the credit union. I did not tell him nothing. So I went one day and visit my house. In as much as I'm not renting for you, I saw that he damaged a lot of the incense in the house. So I said to him that I'm going and sell the house. He told me, if I'm selling the house, I'm giving the first priority. I tell him, yes, in as much as you are there living already, the first priority is there for you. So I went and I get an assessor to assess the value of the house, a valuator. His name is Mr. Dyson, everybody knows. He assessed the house for me for $480,000. So I went back to the guy, I told the guy I'm ready. He said to me, how come? I cannot give you $480,000 one time, the house worth it, but I can give you a deposit so that I can have a guarantee that you will not sell the house to someone. Anyway, he asked me to give him a letter that I'm willing to sell the and didn't call it this letter there. But anyway, I gave him the letter. After this, he came back, he told me he did not need the letter because he's going and get the money without he take a loan. While I was in my garage working, my hands was very dirty. Someone called me, the person told me, Kokom, that is such and such a person. I am ready to settle with you. So I tell him for what? He tells me the deposit, I bring it for you. He brought $120,000 for me. I said to him, sir, we are living in the same house, you're living in an apartment, I am living in the other apartment, the house dirty my hand is when I reach home, we can settle that. He told me, no, take that quick one before I change my mind. Anyway, he opened it for me, because my hands was dirty, I saw he has a check of $120,000 deposit, I took it.
Okay, so Kokom, just hold on 1 minute there, please. Let me just interject there respectfully. Okay, you want that $120,000 deposit that this brother gave you for the purchase of your house. Let us go back a little bit. You said to the guy initially that you were not renting to him, right?
No.
Right. So how did he end up in your house after that fact? After you saying that to him? Who gave him keys? How did he make his way?
The day he came, apparently I had lost the keys for the house when I finished building the house. I did not know where to, so the house was open.
Oh, it was open.
So one part of the house I am living, if you watch the house has 2 apartments on the upstairs, one on the right, one on the left.
Okay.
So because the right one was too big for me alone, so I was living in the left one.
Okay.
So he came to me, and then he told me he wants to rent the building. So to be honest with you, I wanted to rent it because because the house was just there. I said somebody will take care of the house for me. So when he came, I bring him to City Hall. I did not bring him to enter, to live, or to rent. I bring him to City Hall. He watches the City Hall. So he gone to his business, and I told him that the house is open. So when I went to Granby, when I came back, I saw light in the house. He came and lived in the house without my consent, without I tell him to leave. But in as much as we have spoken, I just say leave him alone because he's in the house.
Okay.
And I tell you, from that time, there 1996 to 2010, he has never given us a penny for the rent of the house. So we are going back on the. So you get this one, Fred?
Yes, I got that part of it. So we're on the $120,000 deposit now.
Yeah. So the $120,000 deposit, after he gave it to me, I wash my hands and I go and deposit on my account in the credit union in Roseau. When I came back, I go back to. He called me. He told me, how come? That's how we used to call me. I want a receipt, you know. I tell him, my brother, I haven't got time to give you a receipt now. Look, my hands dirty. He asked me if I deposit the check. I tell him, yes, I deposit the check already. So he came demanding for a receipt. I tell him, my hands are dirty. He makes me sign. I sign on a receipt book here, my signature, but I did not write nothing on it for him. He tell me he'll write it, and when I reach at my home, he'll give me a copy of the receipt. To be honest to you, I reach at home, I trusted him, and I never take a copy of receipt. After, I would say after 3-4 months, I approach him, and I tell him like that, what about the balance of my money? He tell me like that, well, he's in Guadeloupe, he's a citizen of Guadeloupe, and the money is coming from Guadeloupe. So I told him like that, what we could do, I can send a loan for him on the house so that he can give me the balance of my money. He tell me that it's very good. So I get a copy of the title. I gave him the title because the title was in the credit union in Goodwill, because I had signed a loan for a friend of mine, for the friend of mine to purchase a bus. So the bank had the paper, the title. So I went to the registry and I get a copy for him. I gave it to him. It was about 4 o'clock. He tell me, okay, in about another 2-3 months, I will get the balance of my money.
And the balance.
So while I at home, maybe about I went to Pishin and I came back about 11 o'clock.
And what kind of balance? Come behind me. What
talking in the house? I heard a little echo in the house. Some people talking. So when I peep on the outside, I saw it's a GA belonging to the CID. They came there, they went. So I myself did not take that for nothing. The following morning, about 7:30, when I saw a police officer by the name of Damier, and I saw another woman. They came to me. They said to me, the man that's living on the other side, make a report that someone stole his land paper. So I am telling them like that, how someone can steal this man certificate of title when I have not given him a certificate of title. They tell me, yes, he said he buy the house from me. So I asked the police how much he said he bought the house from me. The police tell me that is not their business. A certificate of title has been reported that was stolen in the house of Kip Thomas in Wallow. So they come and investigate it. So anyway, they leave and they go. After 2 days, I was in my garage working. I saw 2 police officers. They came to me. They asked me. They tell me like that they come to get me for the main investigating officer. His name is Matthew Coffey. So I told them I'm doing some work in my garage. I cannot go now. So if they can give me a little chance, they tell me no. I have to come up now. So I went up to the police headquarters, which Matthew Coffey told me like that I stole a land paper in Wallace and they are investigating that. I told Matthew Coffey I do not know nothing about somebody stole land paper. In a matter of a few days, I think someone told me that they saw it on the Chronicle that certificate of title was stolen in the house of Claudio later in Wallow, and the certificate title is on the name of Claudio later. I went and I told the Chronicle that I have not sent nobody, I have not reported that my certificate of title has been stolen. How come they have that on the Chronicle? They tell me it's someone by the name of Kit Thomas that put it. Anyway, I did not take that for nothing. I just say, well, Mr. maybe have a little problem and what he tried to do. But when I do catch up, when I asked myself my question, I think that this man was trying to take my house from me. Anyway, I had this certificate of title. I got it from the credit union in Goodwill, if you'll have finished paying the loan. And I had it bailing someone. While I bailing someone, the police stopped me stop the process. And the investigator at that time, I would say it was Mr. Loda. He was investigator, but he was there at the head running the case. So he said to the magistrate at this time, the magistrate was Mr. Ozil, that my worship, this cannot continue because this land paper is reported stolen. Mr. Ozil said to him, sir, let me tell you something, Mr. Prosecutor. He was the prosecutor that time, Mr. Loda. Let me see this land paper. This land paper is on the name of Mr. Claudio Later. It has not been transferred to nobody. How Claudio Later can steal his land paper? Claudio Later can give his land paper to anyone. He can do anything he wants. He can burn it, he can throw it, he can build anyone on it. Anyway, we proceed with the bill. After we proceed with the bill, when I finish as I go outside, 2 police officers come and arrest me. And they tell me like that they would like me inside. They will bring me to the CID. The CID hold me there for about 3 days. And the Monday they take me to court and they bailed me. And that matter has been going on until 2013 to the last time they dismissed it. But however, the same guy, the virtual complainant, they call him in the court DVC, he died inside of the same house he was trying to take from me. So after the guy died, I went and checked my house. I have the keys for my house. The house is mine. I saw everybody coming in the house. I went in my house. So that is the when the guy was buried in Granby. While I there, 2 police officers come and they arrested me and they bring me down to the police station. They hold me there for another 4 days. And they took me to the court. When they took me to the court, the same lawyer, which is unlawful, that he should tell them like that he's not in that matter because he was the one that made them arrested me. He sent me up to the prison. They give me 6 months remanded in the prison. But however, there was a judge living next to me, Bernie Stevenson. That same judge, she was the one that sent me 10 days jail when Mr. Edison James and I had this political saga.
Okay, Kokon, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just give me a little break there, please. Let me just punch 1 or 2 questions at you, and then you will continue, and in a while for us to wrap up, all right?
Yes, sir.
I got from you, and let me know if I got that right, that the guy deposited in a check form in your hand $120,000 easy.
Yes.
Right.
Deposit, yes.
Okay, good. What was the balance owed to you as per the sale of that house of yours?
The balance was $235,000.
$235,000. Okay, good. Now,
yes.
The guy said that he was going to take a loan to get that $245,000. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you promised to use that land title of yours as collateral in order to facilitate him to get that loan?
Yes, sir. That's what I did.
Okay, good. So right there, Kokom, would you say in hindsight that that was a miscalculation on your part?
Well, I would say it was a miscalculation on my part because I was too willing to help him. And that is me in my life. I always want to help people because I am a human being like anybody. If somebody come and ask me for help and I can, since I can help the person, I'll help the person with all my heart. And anybody that knows me in Dominica knows that about me. I don't hold grudge against people. I don't hate nobody. If I cannot make you excel, my brother, I'll never try to bring you down.
So what was the original figure that you had agreed to sell the house to him for? What was the ballpark figure?
The original figure was $480,000.
Okay, but $480,000, right? He gave you 120. You said that he was going to take 245 as a loan.
Yes, if I make the calculation right, maybe you can calculate better than me, so you can make a fast calculation.
No, but that's what I'm pointing to. It doesn't add up to 480. It adds up to 355.
Yes, well, 355, Mr. Lofty, yes. No, I have it right because I have it written, yes. You have to make $300 and something $300,000 for me.
Okay. So it's not 480 as suggested originally. Okay. So as we wrap up, Kokom, why did the court basically freed you of that matter?
Mr. Lofty, for me to continue, the worst part of that, as we wrap it up, is when the police and them arrested me inside of my house and they sent me jail. I stayed in the jail for 13 days. And before they sent me to the jail, my lawyer, which is Mr. Privo and Jilina Privo, and 4 other lawyers was there. They sent on to the police. They sent on to the court. But you are going and send Mr. Claudius to jail, saying that he broken open his house and he entered his house. Or you going and cause this state a great deal of loss. Because Claudius said that cannot still. They still pursue and they send me to jail. However, I come out from the jail.
So what did they send you jail for? For stealing a title, which I'm understanding is your title, your name is on that land title?
Yes, that's what they sent me to jail for.
Wow.
They tell me I trespass in my own house. The house is on the name of Claudius later. But however, I got bail and I stayed 13 days in the jail and I come out. But the matter was dismissed by the DPP. They're making 3 matters in connection with this house that are dismissed by the DPP. Okay. And then the last one, the one when they arrested me on 2015, it was dismissed by the court on Monday. The court said that is stupidness, that is an old case, and the court, they blame the police, and the judge said that next time when those people have this kind of stupid case, they are not to bring it to recovery because this case is not supposed, that is not a criminal matter, that is just a civil matter. They should advise, the police did not advise themselves, the police did not advise the person, the police just advise, just decide that they're going to send me to jail because I steal my land paper. But they should have seen that this land paper was on the name of Claudius, so they has not been transferred. A land transaction cannot be done in the garage of Kokom. Land transaction has to be done in the court. Because the guy did not finish paying me, that's why we did not make the transaction in the court or by a lawyer.
Kokom, I find that story to be very, very, some things are not right about it. For you to be sitting in jail, arrested for a land title a man said that you stole, and that land title is in the name of Claudius Kokom later, I found that to be very, very, very amusing, to say the least.
Well, the whole world, because two lawyers from St. Lucia, which I know them very good, they call me, I'm going up to St. Lucia so that we can start first to file a lawsuit against the state for sending me jail wrongfully. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sue them. I informed the relevant authorities about that already. The following day, I had a meeting with the Minister of National Security, and he did not tell me nothing bad. He they just advised me what to do because he himself find that was very ridiculous on the part of the police. That you just watching me and you arresting me and you sending me jail. In all jail I take for this, Mr. Lofty, I take about a 31 days jail, you know.
A whole month jail for
yes, but I did not take them to say one time. I would say currently you could call that I take a 15 days. I take another 15 days again. I take a one night. I take a 2 nights, and every time I wasn't coming to the court, they used to send police to arrest me to send me into the jail. A night, 2 nights, a few hours, and they taking me back out.
All right. So Kokom, what is next? What is next for you? Read that matter. You hinted on it earlier. What is next?
Well, the next is to file a lawsuit against the state to sue them for sending me jail wrongfully. Sue them for having my name, because that was on the media that Claudius later is taken to jail for theft. Yes, and that's what they take me to the court for theft of my title.
Yes, a matter of fact, Kokom, just before you go to corroborate what you're saying, on DNO, Dominican News Online says here, Claudius Kokom later has been arrested and charged for theft and burglary of a certificate of title in July of 2012. He appeared before a Roseau magistrate on Monday, 13th May, and was granted bail in the sum of $15,000. He's expected to reappear in court on September 16, 2013. Later was in court on Friday and to stand surety for Earlston Paul of Mount Prosper, who was arrested and charged for fraud. Paul was offered bail in the sum of 20,000 EC, and part of the security offered by later as his surety was the certificate of title. The prosecution objected to claiming that the title that was, the prosecution objected to this, claiming that the title that was the subject of a police investigation. Later's attorney, that is Joshua Francis, responded claiming to the prosecution that was out of place, since later he contended has the right to his title until a court says otherwise. It continues by saying, Later was then allowed to stand surety for Paul, but was arrested by police after he left the courthouse in connection with the disputed certificate of title. So, Kokom, that is basically the story there, as you were alluding to. It made the rounds. It made the rounds where you were arrested.
Yes. Mr. Lofty. Mr. Lofty.
Sure, I'm there.
Yeah, now can you hear me? You mentioned the name of the person I was standing shortly of.
Earlston.
But Mr. Yes, Lofty, and the man that I was standing shortly of, there is a whole long story behind this man, but I think that you and I should meet and I should give you, and I should have an exclusively, I would say, interview about that matter. Because one name that they said there, Mr. Earlston Paul, and if you know about this man, you'd never believe that a man would watch a man. You know, this man, he stole $770,000 of mine.
All right, that story there, we will get into it some other time. But in the meantime...
Yeah, some other time, I think you should call me. I have your number. I'll call you and you and I will sit down.
Okay.
And we will talk about this matter.
Yes, indeed.
So thank you, Mr. Lofty.
Before you tell me thank you, Kokom, before you tell me thank you, a lot of persons know you or have known you, I don't know the state now, to be an ardent fan of the Dominican Labour Party. Are you still, still in that vein?
Yes, Mr. Lofty, as much I am with the Dominican Labour Party, there is something they do I just do not like at all.
And what is that?
That is against the will of the Dominican Labour Party. But I am still...
And that is what? That is what? What are your gains?
Well, things I do not like that, and they don't bring the people that support the Labour Party together enough. As though they have lost with the people, they have a lot of the people that support the Labour Party suffering a lot, and sometimes I don't tell them that on their talk show, and they don't want to hear me at all. They even calling me clown, saying like that I am just like the UWP clown, that I turn against Labour Party and I talking shit like them. But I'm not talking shit. I'm lost. If you have a child at your home, or if you are my friend, and you see me doing something that is wrong, and you don't tell me that what I'm doing is wrong, my brother, you are not my friend, I am a strong supporter of Labour Party, and I know there is a lot of things that Labour Party doing that is not right. I do not like it. I just tell it to them openly. Those who website telling them get lost. Those who plan, I mean, it is their business.
So you
but I'm certainly telling you, I love the Labour Party. I see the Labour Party have a good will. There are many things that they are doing in Dominica I very like, but there are many things that they are doing I just don't like it at all, and I will tell it in their face. Those who like it, like it. Those who don't like it, that is up to them.
Okay, so Kokom, in a nutshell, what you're saying that you are still a supporter of the ideals or the ideology of the Labour Party, but not some of their policies or principles.
Yes, some of their policies and their principles, I do not like it. Let me tell you something. I am a Dominican. If any political party gets into office today or tomorrow, I will still support them for the continued development of Dominica. Labour Party can never stay there forever. If Labour Party or anybody believes that the Dominica belong to Labour Party, no, Dominica did not belong to Freedom Party. It wasn't belong to UWP. It did not belong to Labour. Government come and government go. If Labour Party is undertaking some very good projects like the international airport. We have the cable car program. We have many other programs. We have the geoformality. If Labour Party left office today and Labour Party go, another government must continue it. So I do not see we have people believe that the Labour Party, that is the bed of Labour Party, that is the bed. And one thing I know in government, anytime you see a government is there for too long, you can be whom you be. You can be what you are. The people just starting to get tired of you, and especially when some of your policies are not right in their side. That is what I urging Labour Party. I always telling them in their face, my brother, have your own priorities right. Not to wait the day when the election comes for you to run behind people, because I think certain things that some of the pal reps are doing, I am not happy about it. Because some of the pal reps, they don't even know if the people live in. The people have to be begging them. The people have to tell them, hey, where is that pal rep? They don't see their pal rep, my brother. UWP is to do the same thing. Freedom Party is to do the same thing and see where they end. Anytime you say you forget about the people who put you there, my brother, you have a big problem when come for politics, when come for you to campaign. So I'm always urging them if they want to stay, continue. Treat the people right. Yes, not to just one by people, but Labour Party have a bad habit. Labour Party forgetting the people that supporting them, that support them and put them there. And the people that does not support them is they that getting big. I mean, people are people, you know. People that support Labour Party will not like to see that. While they're going, they're suffering. I could tell you one instance I had with the Labour Party, but I will not say that on the air. It's just for when I meet them, for me to show them where they're not right and where they're right. So, Mr. Lofty, that is it. I am a strong Labourite. I will continue to support Labour. If Labour Party leave government today and another government gets into office, I will support them the same way to say that they continue the development of Dominica. That is me, and that's how I stand.
All right. Kokom, thank you very much, my brother. I want to thank you for taking time off to come and speak here on the program, speak to me so that at least you could clear the air.
Now, Mr. Loftus, can I ask you one last question before I go? What you said that the Sun newspaper, I mean the
DNO.
Where can I get a copy of that report there?
I will send it to you. After the program, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to your phone via WhatsApp so you can read it.
Okay, well, no problem, Mr. Loftus. So, good night to you and to all the listeners, Mr. Loftus. Hope to see you another time. And remember, we need to have an exclusive interview.
All right,
and that matter between you and I. Anytime you can come by me, I can come by you, and we'll sit down and we'll talk, because I believe that you are a good man for that. And one thing I tell people, Mr. Loftus does not support the same political party that I am. But Mr. Loftus, you know, you are the only one. No Labour right, nobody has never called me and tell me, hey, partner, look, is that I hear, and I congratulate you and thing. And I think voice here, man, like Mr. Loftus, I give so much blows on radio when I read it. The same Loftus, and these are the attitude I elect with politicians, my brother.
So you are confessed.
Even though you support your party and I support my party, we all are Dominican. In the end of it, we all have to shelter under the same house. We all taking sun under the same sun, and we are we. So So thank you, Mr. Loftus.
So, Kokom, you are
and have a good night to you and your listeners.
Kokom, you are confessing here. You gave me blows already on the radio, eh?
Huh?
You gave me blows already on the radio for speaking.
Yeah, man, that is politics. That's not really.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
I can tell somebody we like our politics. But there's not about the hatred for each other because you are UWP and Labour Party that I have to hate you. I'm content for that. You know, a lot of UWP, they are my very good friends.
All right.
People they think money.
Kokom will talk. Thank you very much, my brother.
Okay. Yes, good night.
All right, good night, Kokom. Good night indeed. Folks, that was Mr. Claudius Kokom. Later, thank you very much for speaking to yours truly here. Sometimes you have to listen to people. Sometimes certain persons just cast certain persons aside, but I always take time off to listen, at least give a listening ear to especially the downtrodden in our society. They too have their say. And Kokom, as everybody know, is an ardent fan, supporter of the Dominican Labour Party. But one thing, he normally calls a speed sometimes. Even if, at the end of the day, his qua or his cross would go by the Dominican Labour Party. All right? But it is what it is. We have to move on. And so you heard Kokom's story. We are now just moving on here from the segment as it relates to Kokom and that whole fiasco as it pertains to the stealing or the burglarizing of his home first, as he said, it's alleged, and also the stealing of a title in his name. That's a very, very interesting one. Kokom gave his side of the story, but at the end of the day, that matter was dismissed in the court system of Dominica for whatever reason the DPP decided not to continue, not to pursue that matter. He said quite vividly that the person who was in that, who brought that complaint against him is dead as we speak, so that most likely may have weighed heavily as well in terms of the DPP and a team taking that decision. All right? So thank you very, very much indeed for giving Kokom at least listening here. All right, Dominicans, it is 20 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock, so we have 20 more minutes. I'm getting a note here with Dr. Thompson Fontaine and an engagement somewhere, but I normally like to fact check things before I push out on air, so let me just make sure that is the case, and then we will bring that to you as fact, most likely next week, and the details thereof as it pertains to Dr. Thompson Fontaine. All right. The body who sent it to me I can trust, but in this day of technology, anything can happen. You never know. All right, folks, the situation in Wesley, before we come to a wrap. There is an occupation going on in Wesley as we speak by the Chinese as a nation, the Chinese as a people, and it is quite alarming what is going on in the village of Wesley as it pertains to that proposed international airport, people. Dominicans, those of you in Dominica, those of you who are overseas, when you come home, take a drive to Wesley. Don't let me tell you. Don't let talk show hosts tell you. Don't let people tell you. You need to take a drive and understand or see or try to understand for yourself what is going on in the Wesley area as it relates to this project. I went up to Wesley about 3 weeks ago, and being in Wesley, I can relate that the roads in Wesley, the road network in Wesley, it is in a very deplorable state. Primarily because of these big lorries going up down, about 15 or 20 of these 18, 20 wheeler trucks going up and down on that road, the main road in Wesley, that to me, they wasn't built for that kind of weight initially. The edges of the roads, it is in disaster. Matter of fact, the Chinese, they are on the pavement every day. They are on the edges of this road every day, patching up with concrete, patching up with concrete, patching up with concrete. You jolly well know, concrete and tar doesn't mix. And so you well imagine the patch today, it get a wider hole tomorrow, and that's the situation. Added to that, you have the level of dust that the people of Wesley, they are subjected to on a daily basis. When you go to Wesley, it is like as if you're in some part in Beijing. The air is so thick, it is gray. You can smell the dust. You are inhaling the dust. And so imagine I was just passing through Wesley, and I was subjected to that. You have persons who are sleeping, getting up, breathing, doing everything in Wesley as villagers of Wesley. And so I am in no doubt, sooner rather than later, if not already, the people of Wesley will be complaining of some kind of respiratory issue or issues. I am in no doubt. Because for your lungs to be taking that in every day, and that basically resting on your lungs there, it will build up. Already the healthcare system in Dominica, it's not at its optimum. And so the people of Wesley, you guys, I don't know what it is, but your land is being taken away from you guys. That's what I'm seeing in the name of an airport. If you see the kind of a massive expanse of land that the Chinese are cutting down every day, telling people that they are making or in the process of developing an airport. I have never seen that anywhere else. And it is on both sides of the main road. Both sides. When you look to your left, that destruction I am saying, it is all that you can see and more. You look to your right, it is all that you can see and more. It is no end in sight as it pertains to a demarcation line. As, okay, we are stopping there with the degradation of the place. And Dominicans, it is primarily located in Wesley, but Dominica as a country will suffer as a result of that kind of degradation. And I know some of you will say, oh, Lofty is not inclined or support of an airport. That is not the case. I'm in support of anything to improve the lives of Dominicans, but not at that cost. You cannot basically dismantle an entire people's livelihood. The entire village of Wesley is gone. It is no more. They have taken these people and packed them in a corner. And the Chinese are there roaming the place like woodans, saying it is an airport that they're building. I was in a church, sending home brother, what's his name? Mr. Kenneth Telemack. Was up there doing a live for the family because Kenneth and I, we had some engagement up in the Wesley area before he passed. I learned a lot from him as an elder of the village. And whilst in that church, people doing that live for this brother, sending him home, here it is, I felt that sort of tremor-like situation. The whole church rocked for like 15, 20, 30 seconds. Now, I was just visiting Wesley, so I was quite taken aback. I was wondering, but what is happening? My friend Emu, good afternoon, good evening to you. Emu and I were like in striking distance. Emu held the bench very tight. She opened her eyes wide. The building, the church building rocked. Now, I personally, I really felt It was a natural earthquake that was happening at the time. I am saying, but here it is, this pastor is preaching, sending home this brother, and you know, that is a sign that Mr. Telemark, that's what I told myself, did so well for his community, and that was his final bye-bye in terms of rocking Wesley through that natural phenomenon. But to my surprise, it was the Chinese, I'm being told after that service, that blasted or was blasting a certain area in Wesley. And these people were not 1,000 feet away, they were miles away doing that. So imagine the church where we were basically rocked for like 25, 30 seconds. And I was like, what is happening? But to my surprise, some of the people in the church, they were sort of, you know, calm and cool about it. So after the service, I asked them, but what, you know. Then the people made it aware to me that that is a normal thing, a normal way of life. And I said, that cannot be normal. So that apart from the degradation of these people's land, these people's crops, these people's livelihood, their buildings, wherever they pack them in a corner like sardines, these very buildings, they are being compromised every day by this constant bombardment of the movement of the earth under these buildings. Their foundation has been rocked to the core. And I am saying, if that is not enough, I don't know what is enough. I don't know what will be enough. And I'm telling you folks, it is not a pretty sight in Wesley. And so whatever it is that is going on up there, I am being told the man who sits in the chair as Prime Minister, that is his last straw. That project is his last straw. After having stayed there for 25 years basically, and haven't done nothing of significance to improve the lives of Dominicans, that his advisors and whoever punching his paranoid brain told him that that will be a good send-off as his legacy. So come hell, high water, he wants it to be done at a certain speed before he is ejected from office. And so you can see the selfishness that goes into that project. That's what I'm being told from the grapevine, from inside his circle. That is why you have this rush. And you heard when they say it's tipped to finish 2020, what, 26, 27. Steering down another electoral cycle. And I'm telling you, what I'm seeing in Wesley, people, I'm not no big contractor, but what I know about construction, whatever it is that is happening up there, cannot take more or less than 10 years to finish. Absolutely. That kind of, it cannot. So we're looking at a 10-year stint if it has to come to completion, whatever it is. So the people of Dominica, not just Wesley, they're in that for a long haul. There are some people in Wesley who have not gotten paid for their lands as yet, but every day they are subjected to that kind of a tremor-like situation in the country. Every day. And somebody's just commenting now, and I saw it for myself. Every day these long lorries, these long trucks are taking tons of cement from the port where the boat puts them down, and they're stored on the port and move up to the Wesley area. Yeah. Dominicans, I personally, I really don't know. I cannot understand. I cannot come to grips with what is happening in Wesley. St. Vincent built an airport. I think they were the latest one, the ones to build the airport, international one of that. And there wasn't that destruction of an entire community. There wasn't. And so whatever is happening in Wesley, it is just not right. And based on how I see the mood of the people in Wesley, to me they have given up. A matter of fact, one body was making a comment to the pal rep of the area that was at that funeral service, and another local community person took up that person to task. And all the person was saying is, look, the pal rep is there. He's part and parcel of the destruction of Wesley. And this elderly woman, I must say, what she didn't tell that person in terms of that person commenting is what she forgot. So it goes to show you the level of political, partisan, tribalism, paranoia in the Wesley area. And when you have that, then what else do you expect from an elderly who, I may go before her, but as per the good book, 70 is the cutoff. Has passed that already. So Dominicans, we are in for a very rough ride. And the Wesley people, trust me, Wesley people will be gone. Wesley as a village is not Wesley anymore. I can tell that straight up. And the soil up there in Wesley, I've always been hearing certain persons talking about the soil in Wesley, the soil type in Wesley. It was when they were putting down that brother in that grave, in that hole. I witnessed for myself firsthand the type of soil that is in Wesley. When I went around that gravesite, that hole was dug about 6-7 feet. It was maybe even 8 feet deep. It was really deep. And around that hole, there was literally no stones. No stones. So the soil up there is that, that rich. That rich. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe that is what the Chinese know, and that's what they're after. Yeah, that's what it is. Dominicans, basically our time has come and gone. And as I keep telling you guys, let me just run through some of your comments here before I go. Because it's a convo we're having. 3 minutes, 4 minutes to the hour. About 6. Sorry for that feedback. Well, I'm seeing someone here who clearly is not wanting to hear what is happening here. And as I keep telling you guys, folks, if you want to come here and be disrespectful under my feed, under my life, you can choose to go somewhere else. Yeah, just go somewhere else. You don't have to stay there and make trouble. They're not a place for trouble. We have a usual Saturday night engagement, and if you don't like what is happening here, you can move somewhere else. As a matter of fact, you are not welcome here. So don't stay here and make trouble. Go elsewhere. You can push your propaganda and your stuff and this and that. That's fine. You don't have to be there and make trouble. All right? That is just my word of advice to you guys out there. I know in life there's black, there's white, there's up, there's down. So everybody, a matter of fact, if everybody will be in agreement with what I'm saying, I will not be speaking the truth. I'll not be telling you the facts. So whenever people come with these kind of agendas and pushing back, it is because the facts are hitting them, staring them clear in the face, and they cannot take it because of their political blinders. And so I know that. So please just, just come and move away. And as Carol said, block. But Carol, sometimes, that blocking somebody is even taking energy as well. I don't have the energy for that. Yeah? Yvonne Abel is saying a few greedy people in Wesley helps carry it mash up Wesley. Misha John, Misha, good evening to you. Why come on? Okay, Misha, I dealt with that already. I dealt with this already. Alvin Christopher says our tolerant level is very high in DA. Anita Adams Bernard says the Northeast on a whole, when it comes to digging graves, the soil is soft and no stones. Janice Brunos writes, well, that rainy season we are about to enter, Wesley people has to be very, very careful indeed. James Cam says, where is the progress? So I guess James Cam is taking on that person who is being very, or wants to be very disrespectful, showing up how their brain is a bit shallow, but it is what it is. Cecilia, good evening to you, my friend. Let them torture themselves, Lofty. And who else we have here? Dory Drago writes, hope for better days for the Nature Isle. Folks, great program as usual. We thank you. Lofty Duran. Perseverance, our brother. Good night, Patriots. Anita writes, I could be your admin. Anita, when that time comes, I will let you know, all right? But thank you, Dominicans. Tomorrow, remember, on the Civic Vibes program, just before I go, we'll be having Dr. Thompson Fontaine. He will be here for us speaking about the economic situation of Dominica. Of late, I've been hearing a number of folks on Facebook, on the ground, when I go around, especially the young people. They are really feeling the pinch, and they are really crying out for help. They are really wondering what is happening. Price on the increase, inflation. Dominica is not the Dominica in before. Dominica is not the Dominica. Next week we'll be having a conversation, if the brother agrees, about the financial institutions in Dominica, and also I'll try to dovetail that conversation into some of the realities as it pertains to the price hike in certain items. Also the remuneration packages in Dominica. Some persons work for very, very minuscule money, I call it in Dominica, cannot really make ends meet, but that is a conversation we have to have. Folks, before I go, this week was a very trying week for some persons, but I just want to tell you guys, be encouraged. Nothing lasts forever. I'm also getting a little, I have to get more details on that our young dear Kenisha Etienne, who vanished from us 2 years ago plus, there is a struggle now that is happening. Yes, a struggle. Let me call it a struggle for now. There's a struggle that is happening now by some parties as it relates to persons who are in the know of the disappearance of Kenisha Etienne. There's a struggle going on. And it may be that young Kenisha was part and parcel of that struggle that is ensuing today. But you guys will get much more meat on that as soon as I can piece it together and bring the facts to bear on what I'm hearing so far from persons who are in the know. All right? Bearing in mind our young Kenisha, she has gone missing, but for sure that case is by no means dead. Thank you, Dominicans, for your eyes and ears each and every time. Those of you in Dominica, in the region, further afield, have a blessed night. Whatever you have to do with your night, I just wish that everything goes very, very well with you. All right? Thank you very much. See you tomorrow from 6 o'clock, and as well next week Saturday, same time, same place. All right, I want to leave you now with a song, a track of your doing, people, of your requests. So please give me some suggestions here of a track that you guys may want to hear before I leave. All right, so you have the opportunity now to do that. Let's go. Any suggestions so far? Any suggestions, please? I haven't seen none as yet. I'll plug one. All right. Someone said Peter Tosh, Nasir Fontaine, Peter Tosh. I think I'll go for. Let me see. What is happening here? Okay, I think I'll leave you.